Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater. And a couple months ago when they first announced the Hawkeye television show for Disney Plus, the Marvel Studios or Marvel Cinematic Universe adjacent Hawkeye, not even a movie, it's a show. It's a show with Jeremy Renner in it. I was a little bit confused. I mean, I know Renner wasn't a gigantic fan of his role in the Avengers films. He always kind of felt sidelined. And then this time around, they were going to be doing the same thing because he was going to be bringing in Kate Bishop, and they were going to be basing it off of the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run. It's a very popular run. It was recommended to me randomly at a comic booth at Comic-Con after the announcement was made, and I was just kind of looking through some stuff, and I still need to sit down and read it. But the question then becomes, who is going to be Kate Bishop? Who exactly is going to be the woman that kind of takes over as the new Hawkeye in the Young Avengers? And that apparently today is Hailee Steinfeld is going to be playing Kate Bishop. Now, this kind of came out of left field, in my opinion. Now, I heard some rumors that they were looking to cast an Asian actress in the role, and it turns out that Hailee Steinfeld is Filipino. I had no idea. She was Filipino. Learning that today for the first time. So again, now that I see it, oh, okay, I get it. Cool. I like her as an actress, by the way. I think she's pretty fantastic. So this is what the article says. It says, it looks like Marvel Studios has just hit another casting bullseye. The company's Disney Plus series Hawkeye has targeted Hailee Steinfeld to play MCU's Kate Bishop. If the deal goes through, she'll join Jeremy Renner and presumably take over as the MCU's primary archer, because every good superhero team needs one. A new report from Variety says that Steinfeld has been offered the role in the upcoming series, that of Kate Bishop, Hawkeye's trainee. No word yet on whether or not she'll accept the job, but this is yet another case of Marvel luring in top-tier talent who are perfectly fit to portray these characters. And you know what? Marvel's good at that, because this show is a springboard. Everything on the on the D plus side of things is a springboard. We know this, right? We know this. We know for a fact that Kevin Feige is being directed by Bob Iger to basically turn the Disney Plus shows into a launch board or a springboard launch pad for these other characters to get them up there. And Kate Bishop is a very, very, very popular one. In fact, if you don't know anything about Kate Bishop, if you're coming into this blind, and I don't blame you, not a lot of people read comics. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you fans out there who like comic book movies. Not a lot of people read comics. But anyway, in the comics, Kate Bishop is a headstrong woman out to make a name for herself and refusing to take crap from anyone. At Comic-Con, Renner said that Kate is a better version of Hawkeye compared to his Clint Barton. And apparently this might have something to do with his tenure as Ronin, which is going to be ultimately, I believe, the time period of which we find him. I think this particular show is going to take place during the Decimation, when he is Ronin, because they've already said that we're going to get glimpses of him as Ronin during that time. And I think to put him in the position that this comic needs to have him in order for them to be inspired by this Matt Fraction story, I really do think this is what they're going to do. Anyway, anyone who remembers Steinfeld's breakout turn in 2010's True Grit knows she can handle that aspect of the character with aplomb. I love it when these writers say, I went to college. Let me use some big words here that people need to look up a dictionary on. Anyway, but Bishop is also a bit goofy in her best moments, and Steinfeld is multifaceted enough as a performer to be able to bring this element to the screen simultaneously. See Edge of 17 and Bumblebee for good examples of what she's done in the past. Sort of like how Harrison Ford played Indiana Jones, capable of getting the job done while being self-effacing enough to be relatable. And that is something that Hailee Steinfeld brings to the table 100%. When I first saw her in True Grit, I loved her in True Grit. Loved her in Ender's Game. Liked her in Bumblebee. Bumblebee was a bad movie overall. I'm sorry. It just was not as good outside of that opening 5 minutes. The script was terrible. The CG was a mess. The story was but she was good in it. So I think that's why people I think Bumblebee and her were good, so they kind of overlooked the rest of it. But she's very, very talented, very capable of doing these particular types of jobs, or these types of characters. And I'm curious to see what she's going to be doing here. So for those of you who don't know this particular storyline, this is the synopsis. So the Fraction Aja Hollingsworth Hawkeye, saying it's Marvel's most critically acclaimed comic in recent memory. Clint Barton, breakout star of a little Marvel movie you might have seen a while back, continues his fight for justice and good rooftop BBQs. With young Avenger Kate Bishop by his side, he's out to get some downtime from being one of Earth's mightiest heroes. But when the apartment building he's moved into and the neighbors he's befriended are threatened by a tracksuit-wearing, dog-abusing gang of Eastern European mobsters who say bro an awful lot, Clint must stand up and defend his new adopted family any way he can. And I mean, look, that sounds interesting enough, but how are you going to tie that into post-decimation? It's got to be during the decimation. And this is where Hailee Steinfeld would come into play, because she could be out there. You know, he's so mourning the loss of his daughter, what we saw in the opening of Endgame. He's mourning the loss of his child, so he kind of puts that on her. And then he ends up going off and doing the Ronin bits, and then she's off doing her own thing. And then at the end of it, when he comes back, his family comes back, he is saved, so to speak. He's going to be wanting to do something with his life that's going to be worthwhile to also kind of honor, Black Widow and her sacrifice. And I think this is where Kate Bishop is going to come into play. And I know this is kind of the image that goes around quite a bit. It's very reminiscent of the opening of Endgame. And I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to seeing something like this play out. Because the storyline, if I recall, is like Hawkeye loses his hearing, which is one of the reasons why he kind of moved out. And then he ends up teaching her. And I don't know at the end of the day if this is going to be any good, if this is going to be any bad. I mean, obviously they're really working on trying to make it something, trying to make it a big show. And they're going to use her to potentially springboard into the Young Avengers and carry it forward. Because with casting of her as Kate Bishop, we know that she's in it for the long haul. She was in some Pitch Perfect films. She's been probably looking for her own franchise. And this is just a long-term gig. And she's young enough, early 20s, young enough to get this kind of gig and play it through for a while, kind of like Tom Holland is with Spider-Man. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on with that. I'm hoping for some for some more information here pretty soon. And I'm excited for this if she takes the job. I think with the fact that this casting announcement went out there, or this potential casting announcement went out there, she's probably already signed the contract. And then now they're just waiting for the ink to dry before formally announcing it. But I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think this is good? Think this is bad? Are you excited? Are you not excited? I want to hear it. Or come over here to facebook.com/groups/3bucktheater. Get in on the action. Let me know your thoughts there if you want. And I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out.